How are we going, folks? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin, and welcome to day. I forget what day it is. 16. Day number 16 of our Judas Priest series, our countdown to Invincible Shield. If you've only just jumped on board for the past 15 days, and today is day number 16, I have been going through the entire Judas Priest catalogue, reviewing an album a day as a countdown to the band's new album, Invincible Shield, which I'll be reviewing and unboxing on the day of release. And yeah, as I said earlier, as I've said a bunch of times now, this is day number 16. So today we are talking about Nostradamus. Let's take the booklet out so it's not reflecting. And cool artwork in here as well. Especially, I might use this as the thumbnail actually, because I always like to use related artwork, but alternative artwork, just to give things a bit of a different. I don't know. That's what I've been doing with Rushcast anyway. But I might just use that colour. I don't know. It's up to you. Where do we start? Right. I just want to do a bit of housekeeping before we get into the review. Throughout the series, I've always said I will also review the accompanying live album. So any live albums that come up, I'll cover them as and when. I didn't do Judas Priest Live, the one with the brown cover, that came out on the Turbo tour, because I've not got that album. I always forget about it, and it's not been one that's particularly important. Not that as well, from what I understand, that's a compilation, and I prefer live albums that are a concert. And not that, where I had that Electric Eye DVD, which I did show off, that's got a concert from the Turbo tour. And to be honest, I've always preferred to watch concerts rather than listen to them. So I listen to live albums, but I generally just buy them to complete the collection. Like Iron Maiden, say Live After Death or Rock in Rio, I'll watch the DVD or video back in the day. I'd rather watch it than listen to it any day of the week, and I normally just buy them just to complete the series. So yeah, I'm more into DVDs than I am live albums as such. So that's why I've not actually got Priest live. I did forget to show this one off though. This is Live Vengeance 82, and this is a DVD reissue of a video, Judas Priest Live. You sort of get a little thing of the front cover there. And this is on the Screaming for Vengeance tour. And the reason I didn't tell you about this is because I forgot I had it. And not only that, I basically got the edition of Screaming for Vengeance that I showed off came with a live DVD, and I just spoke about that and forgot. So, yeah, this is very good. And also, as soon as I finished recording yesterday's episode, Angel of Retribution, as soon as I stopped recording, I looked over and Rising in the East. I completely forgot to talk about it. And I thought, well, I can't. I've got another one here. Judas Priest and Metal Masters. I've got some sort of bootleg there. I don't even know. Live in 2008. Okay, fair enough. Anyway. Yeah, so this is the DVD off the back of the Angel of Retribution tour, and they put a hype sticker right in the middle of the cover, so the angel on the front cover is covered up. That's annoying, isn't it? What's this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 22 song set there. Epic concert, actually. Awesome set lists. Basically covering all eras. No Tim Owens songs. That's a bone of contention. Rob hasn't sung a single Tim Owens song since he's been back, and it's a shame, because with Rob they would do an epic version of Cathedral Spires. You know, that alone. I'm just looking here. 1, 2, 3, I think it's only 3 songs off of Angel of Retribution. But yeah, 22 songs in all. Obviously, the return of Rob. Good stage set. Victim of Changes is awesome on this. But yeah, no, really good concert. So I hadn't covered it, so just thought I'd correct that. Okay, let's get into the album. Nostradamus. The album, 16 albums into their career, many decades into their career, starting in 1970. When was the first album? All the way into the 2000s. When did this come out? 2008. Never done a concept album, never done a double album. Judas Priest could quite easily have done a Saxon or a Motorhead and just gave the audience what they wanted, or did, the same album over and over again. That's gonna piss Saxon fans off, isn't it? And no, they decided to do something different. So that's commendable in itself. But yeah, this one gets a lot of flack. A self-indulgent, bloated concept album, a double album, Judas Priest. God, what were they thinking? And well, excuse me. Years later, this album divides people into 2 camps. There are people that basically don't even listen to it, don't acknowledge it, probably never listen to it all the way through. I'm just going to say that. And they're the ones that shout the loudest. This should be deleted from the catalogue. It should be melted down for glue and is a stain on Judas Priest's history. Then you've got the other side, where the album's now got a bit of a cult following, and those people say it's the band's masterpiece and it's the best thing they ever done. Now, as usual, people, the truth is somewhere in the middle. It's not a masterpiece, it's not their best album, but it's not a complete piece of shit either. I think time is being kind to it. I think time will be kind to it. And it's better than you remember. It's worth checking out. And if you've never listened to it before, give it a go. Give it a go on a long drive. There's good stuff in there. You don't get this far into your career and just put out crap. Unless you're Machine Head. But you know what I mean. But look, there's strings on it and keyboards. Yeah, Don Harry is doing the keyboards. The guy who did Blizzard of Oz. The guy that's currently the Deep Purple's keyboard player. The amount of albums that guy's been on, yeah? It's not just any old keyboard player, It's not as if they're doing it. And they got a proper string arrangement guy on there. Like it's an actual orchestra, with a proper conductor. They're not just fucking about, Yeah, so it's got its merit, but the truth of the matter is, it is an over-egged pudding, though. It doesn't need to be. I listened to this today for you. It's an hour and 46 minutes. Is it an hour and 46 or is it an hour and 43? What does it matter? Yeah, it's a length of a film. I listened to the whole thing in one sitting. It is a long listen. It is a demanding listen. There's no getting away with that. I'm going to get into the good stuff. I'm going to fight its corner. I'm going to defend Nostradamus. But the fact of the matter is, the detractors are right. Like I say, you've got 2 camps here. The truth is in the middle, and both have got a point. This is the thing with this album. Generally speaking, the general compromise is it's a good album, but it shouldn't have been a double album. It should be filed down to 1. I don't think that's quite the case. I think it still could be a double album, but it does need filing down. You've got a 55-minute CD and a 46-minute CD. It could have been provided just 2 40-minute CDs. It could be an hour and 10 minutes they could have filed it down on. Yeah, they could have filed it down to one CD in an hour and 10 minutes. But I still think splitting it into two parts, into two acts, still works. So, yeah, maybe. Here's the problem as well. So you'll have a full length song, which will be somewhere between 5 minutes and 7 minutes, all of them, with a 1 minute and 20-second song in between them all. So there's 23 songs in total, but a good chunk of them, a good 10 of those songs are either intros, interludes, or little minute and a half with vocals, but they are introductions. And that really pads the album out. So, you know, you might have a 7 minute long song, but you'll have like a minute and a bit song either side of it. But even still, some of these 7 minutes long songs don't need to be 7 minutes long. And this is the problem. You've got a double album with 23 songs with long songs in amongst it all. And yeah, I think you need to have one or the other. You either need a bunch of songs that are lots of different, you know, short length, where there's lots going on, it's constantly moving. You've got 23 songs to go through. You've got a 55-minute album and a 46-minute album. You've got to keep the pace going. A lot of these songs are mid-paced. There's not a lot of... Scott Travers, Painkiller Scott Travers, isn't here. He lets loose on the second from last song, and when that kicks in, that is a breath of fresh air. You do sigh with relief. So let's get into it then. So you've got Dawn of Prophecy, a nice introduction, kicks into Prophecy. And it's a big mid-paced song. It's a good song. You know, I am Nostradamus. And that's really like an introduction song. It's kind of letting you know what's coming. And then on Awakening, this is when the album actually starts. So yeah, you've got an introduction piece, just introducing the show, so to speak. Then we got Awakening, nice little thing. Then we got Revelations, a really good atmospheric song. Pestilence and Plague, another good one. Like, it's all good. It's just there's parts where I'm trying to think of the song. Pestilence and Plague is pretty good, actually. Death is good. I mean, that's quite a Sabbathy, like a slow, doomy song. And only 2 songs off this album have ever been played live, and I do think they could have chose better songs to represent the album. I think Alone would have been good, or Visions, or the actual song Nostradamus. And everyone thinks Nostradamus is the opening track, Prophecy. No, Prophecy's just got a chorus that says, I am Nostradamus. But the title track, Nostradamus, would have been good live. Yeah, so it gets good, but then it sort of stops and then builds up again, and then it gets good. You get, oh right, we're rocking now. Yeah, we've got through the sludgy shit, and then it starts again, and it keeps starting and stopping and working itself up. And there's good, memorable songs on here with songs with good choruses, and there's nice songs on it, like a song like Lost Love and Persecution, and then it just sort of stops and goes into an introduction song again. It's like the pace keeps building up, but then stopping and then building up again. But yeah, so you get that really. It's a very start and stop album. Then with the second CD, yeah, I think Alone is actually a really underrated Judas Priest song. That we don't wanna belong. I said it alone. We just wanna be left alone. Dun, 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 dun. You know, it goes. Visions is another really good song. What's the one? I think it might be New Beginnings. It's a really nice song. It's mainly like piano and string. That's the thing as well. Like when you I'll get to that later. Actually, otherwise I'm going to trip myself up. But yeah, Alone and Visions. They should play those songs now. They should do that on this tour. Just throw them in there and people will be surprised. People will be caught off guard. And I think the same goes for Nostradamus, the title track as well. Future of Mankind's kind of draws things to a close, but in all honesty, you are relieved when it is drawn to a close, it must be said. But when Nostradamus, when that kicks in, it is like, yeah, we've arrived. But it's a shame because I have no pleasure. I take no pleasure giving albums bad reviews. I don't like shitting on albums. I certainly don't like shitting on albums that it's popular to shit on. You know, I'm the guy that defends the X Factor. You know, by Iron Maiden, not the show. You know, I defend. You know, those albums. You know, I don't defend St. Angelo. That album sucks, but. You know what I mean? I like praising the underdog. I like giving stuff a chance. And I will point out an album's good points before, but sometimes the bad points are there and they're unescapable, you know? And the problem with Nostradamus is unescapable is that it is too fucking long. I'm not going to say it didn't need to be a double album. It should have just been one CD and it would have been really good. I think it still could have worked as a double album, but it doesn't negate the fact that it still needs trimming down. The band have always stood by it. I think they were a little bit peeved with the reception of it. They're a little bit shell-shocked by the reception of it, I think. I think that might have had something to do with them deciding to call it quits. I don't know. The fact that they only did 2 songs off. But Rob Halford has always stuck by this album. He's always been really proud of it. He has always said that he wanted to, you know, do a small show in a theatre, playing the album live in full. There was even talk of doing it as like a full production with actors and everything. And do you know what? I'd go watch it. And I think if this was done live in full with an orchestra, doesn't have to be a big one. I mean, I just watched a Rush concert the other day where they had a string section, and they just stood along the back, and there was only about 8 of them, and they were standing up. But yeah, with a keyboard player and a couple of violin players and cello players and whatnot, I think it would be a really good concert, and I think it would go down a lot. I think the songs would play a lot better live, and I'd wonder. I bet the concert would be better to watch. Time would pass quicker watching the concert than it is listening to the album. I think what the band have envisioned hasn't quite come across in the recording of this. Who produced it, in fact? Because Roy Z produced the last album, didn't he? I wonder who produced this. Yeah, here we go. Look, produced by Glenn Kimpton and KK Denton. Like they needed an outsider to come in for this. I think they needed a decent producer who knew what they were doing. You know, to file it down. That's what they should have done. Because there's too many interludes and the songs are too long. I mean, even Alone or Visions. Is it? Yeah, even Alone, that could have been released as a single, but there's this big chunk in the middle of the song that's just drags, and it's like, what are you doing with this? But with Dawn of Prophecy, you can see it being a nice big intro, big live show opening. Rob comes out dressed as Nostradamus, like in the live show of this tour, and then when Awaken kicks in, like, you know, and you know, and the way it all just seems into the next song, it's like this sounds like it would be awesome live with the band playing with an orchestra, and they have got all, you know, all the visuals and all the rest of it. Rob could be standing on like some podium singing the song like he's some conductor or something. It'd work. I think it'd be really fucking cool, but it hasn't happened. But yeah, I don't know. I really wanted. I sat down to listen to it today, and I really wanted everything to click and go. Yeah, God, this album is amazing. I can't believe people don't get it. It makes sense now. But I'm sorry, guys, it just weren't there. It just weren't there. I mean, I've listened to it a couple of times during some long drives, and I've enjoyed it. And it does have its highlights, but you've got to plough for a lot of crap to get to them. And it's unnecessary. So, it's funny. I like the album, but it's got its problems, but I don't agree with all the problems everyone else says. It's got keyboards in it. I don't care. It's got strings on it. I don't care. It's a concept album. Good. It's a double album. So what? You know, like I don't object to anything they've done. It's just not worked. It's just not translated. Yeah, I've got no problem with them actually doing it. I just wish it worked. It came together a bit better. And that's what they needed. They needed a decent producer to handle to take charge of the project and go, right, this is how this is going to work. Cut that bit out. Speed that up. You don't need that. Drop it. You know, and tidy this up. Tighten it up. You know. More hooks. More melodies. Make it catchy. Right. Next. On to the next song. Keep it moving. We've got a lot of story to get through here. And yeah, there's moments of greatness here. But there's a lot of flab on it as well, and it's a shame. But if they ever did do it in full, I would go watch it. So I don't know. It's a mixed bag, this one. I'll let you. I know the comments. It's gonna be one or the other. It's gonna be nope. It's a masterpiece. It's brilliant, and you got other people going absolute crap. Blah 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 blah. And I'm done my best here to try and meet in the middle. So, yeah, that was Nostradamus, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. I've got a couple of live albums here, though. Right, this is the official, album that came out afterwards. A Touch of Evil, live album. A very good live album, but it's not a concert. It's just a compilation of tracks recorded during this tour. And it's songs that are rarer. It's odds and sods. It's not odds and sods. It's we don't need victim of changes for the 100th time, basically. See what we've got: Judas Rising, Hell Rider, Between the Hammer and the Anvil, Riding on the Wind, Death, Beyond the Realms of Death. Well, we've got that, but Dissident Aggressor, A Touch of Evil. Did I say that earlier? No, Hammer and the Anvil do. Eat Me Alive, fantastic. Prophecy and Painkiller. And yeah, it's basically just songs that haven't been on previous live albums, and just some deep cuts rather than just breaking a law for the millionth time, you know. So I get the concept, I get the point of it. But I just like listening to a concert, basically. But but the performances are great, the sound is great. It is a good live album. And this is something cool. I saw Judas Priest on this tour at Wembley Arena. They were supported by Megadeth and Testament, and I managed to get a bootleg of the entire concert. It don't sound great, but it sounds... You're either lucky or you're not with bootlegs. And it's not live album official, you know, it's not restaurant quality, shall we say. But it's not terrible. It's not unlistenable. You just... Yeah, it's a bootleg. Just enjoy it. So Testament, you got disc 1, Testament's full set. Disc 2, Megadeth's full set. And then Judas Priest's set is over 2 CDs. So it's 4 CD set. Is there a booklet in here? No. I kept my ticket though. Ooh. Let's look at the price, shall we? An arena show, 3 massive bands, Judas Priest, Megadeth and Testament. Both could sell out respectable, all 3 could sell out respectable venues in their own right. You ready for this? Wembley Arena. 37 quid. I just bought tickets to Alice Cooper at Hammersmith Odeon. 75 quid each. World is going mad. Yeah, you got... But yeah, the Priest were fantastic that night. All three bands were fantastic that night, actually. And Rob Alford, he is just one of the best singers on earth. And he's not like a... God, it's all falling apart. He's not one of those frontmen that's running around the stage. He slowly walks. He stalks the stage. But he's just got a presence. You don't take your eyes off him. And he is such a good singer live. He's fucking amazing. Shall I read you the set list? Come on then. So obviously you get Dawn of Creation, the introduction track, and then it goes into Prophecy, the first proper song on here. Into Metal Gods, Eat Me Alive, Between the Hammer and the Anvil, Devil's Child, Breaking the Law, Hell Patrol, then Death off this track, off this album. Then we get Descendant Aggressor, Angel from Angel of Retribution, beautiful performance. Electric Eye. I don't know why I always insist on including the Hellion. We know what's coming is the Hellion. Yeah. Rock Hard Ride 3, amazing. That was amazing that night as well. We've got Sinner, Painkiller, then Hellbent for Leather, Green Manalishi, Rob doing his yeah thing with the audience, and then they closed with You Got Another Thing Coming. It was a great show. It was a great night. I was really happy to have this. Didn't care about the quality. It was, as long as I could hear it, it was fine. Right. 2 more albums to go. Redeemer of Souls and what's it called? Firepower. But things go a bit skew-whiff in the band. So most notably, this is the last album recorded with KK Downing. This is sort of the last tour with Judas Priest. The last proper tour with Judas Priest with KK Downing. Although they do a short run of shows, a short tour, after this, playing British Steel live in full. And one of those, literally like 10 shows. It was nothing. And it was only in America. And they were theatre shows. And then that was obviously recorded and reissued with the British Steel Anniversary Edition, which I showed you off on the British Steel episode. That was actually the last run of shows with KK. I'll talk about that tour and KK leaving tomorrow, and then leading into... Basically, I'll be covering Redeemer of Souls tomorrow, but I'll fill you in with what happened in between then. So, thanks for watching, folks. I hope you're enjoying this series. I hope if you're watching the whole thing and sticking with me, well done. I'm starting to see some comments actually saying, like, I'm enjoying your takes, I'm enjoying the series, I'm looking forward to the new album now, I'm getting geared up for it, and that was the whole point of it. So, yeah, we're near the end now, fellas. So, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of Nostradamus, and yeah, I'd like to have that debate carry on the channel. So, right, I'm knackered. I'm going to bed. Catch you later.